Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream. I'm going to do your September the 3rd spiritual principle a day in a meditation for you. Let's go ahead and get into that meditation. It's entitled Free to Be Authentically Me. We can be ourselves in the present moment without fear or apology, without the need for approval or justification. That comes from the Living Clean book, Chapter 7, Awakenings. As we lived through active addiction, few of us felt free to be fully ourselves. We often needed to pretend to be someone we weren't to get what we wanted or needed. And it didn't take long before we were confused about who we really were. If we ever had any idea in the first place, we were so accustomed to wearing masks that we didn't know what our own faces looked like anymore. The atmosphere of acceptance and welcome we found in NNA was a breath of fresh air for those of us who couldn't breathe freely for a long, long time. The basic text tells us the masks have to go. And we notice that when the metaphorical mask comes off, it's so much easier to breathe. For some of us, NA might be the very first place we have been where we suspected that we might be able to show our true selves to others. We may not feel that way in every meeting or with everyone we know in NA, but little by little, we become much more comfortable showing who we really are. The freedom to be ourselves flows directly out of the sense of security we develop by being welcomed and accepted in NA. Admitting that we are addicts was the first of many admissions. Each time we show a bit more of who we truly are to our fellow members, we increase our sense of security and become free to learn even more about ourselves. We accept who we are and lose the need for approval from others. We no longer feel the need to justify our existence. The insecurity that defined so much of who we were in active addiction fades away, and we become who we were meant to be all along. I will take off my mask and breathe more freely, knowing that others in NA will accept me for who I am. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. The mask have to go, right? And being in recovery has allowed us to more fully be ourselves, to be authentic about ourselves. And I guarantee you, this is a work in progress. Every meeting I go to, I am not necessarily comfortable taking my mask off. Figuratively speaking, the mask is removed. However, there's some things that I just don't feel like sharing in that particular meeting. And I don't. And most of the time, I'm sure you can relate. You've learned that there are some busybodies in the meetings that don't keep things quiet. If you share them, you hear them again. And so I'm selective about what I share. You shouldn't have to worry about it, but we're dealing with people. And we're dealing with people that sometimes don't come with their best recovered selves to the meeting, right? I was just in a very chaotic meeting yesterday, very chaotic. And it was bad enough that I had been asked to speak on three different topics, actually. The flyer kept going out with me speaking on a different topic. I was asked physically to speak on one topic. And then I was asked at the last minute when they realized that they had blown me off as a no-show, in a sense, to speak at the beginning and introduce the whole theme. And I realized that there was a deficit. I realized that there was something that was not right. Right. And when I showed up at the meeting, it was confirmed. I could see clearly that the list that had been produced didn't include me anywhere on it. And before I ended up leaving that meeting, even though it's my first time ever in that meeting, I ended up being co-hosted. And I don't know if it was by mistake or whatever. I have some experience with chairing and hosting these sort of platform meetings on Zoom, right? But at some point in time, I was grateful that I actually wasn't sharing. I was grateful because I could not believe the level of sniper sharing, people unmuting, making rude comments to people. I just could not believe. And I will never attend that. I guarantee you, I will never attend that meeting again. Absolutely not. Right. So sometimes there are meetings that really are operating on personalities and not principles. And you have to be grown enough, mature enough, spiritual enough. I'm not sure how to put it, but you need to be in a position where you understand where you're at and know whether or not this is one of those places that you can authentically be yourself. But generally speaking, because of recovery, I've been able to be my authentic self the majority of the time. And that's what I want for you today, to take a break from the mask, take it off so that you can breathe more easily. Knowing that others in general in Narcotics Anonymous are going to accept you for who you are, as you are, not in spite of yourself, right? Be wary of people that say, I love you in spite of yourself. I don't need you to love me in spite of myself. If that's practicing tolerance for you, go for it. But I'm letting you know I don't need that, right? Love me for who I am without throwing that extra shade on it, right? My name is MightyStream. I've enjoyed talking to you. I hope that you will have a beautiful day on purpose.